All right. Alexis and Mariana, thank you so much for being with me on the podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's great having had worked with both of you for a while as interns to get to know you a little bit more on the personal side. So I'm super excited for you to share your stories. And I think that our listeners will have a lot to learn from them. So I want to get started by setting the stage and have you each tell us what you thought your life was going to be like after graduation and when you were done with high school, if you thought you had it all figured out, what your plans were and where you are now. So let me start with Mariana. Let's get started with you, and then Alexis, you can tell us your story.
In high school, I would say I was an avid, so I really saw myself going to a fourth year university since in avid, that's what really was like the main goal, going to a fourth year university. So community college was never mentioned for me. It was more like a backup option. So when it came time to like apply, I mostly focused on for your universities, applying to like for Cal State or UCs. And I would say community college was more of a back end. I had even put it in my financial aid application just to have it there, but it was never like, oh, let me apply for this too. I'll just like forget about it when I'm already like in a 4 year university. And there was definitely pressure when looking into community colleges since it was just not like the main goal and like everyone like around me was applying to 4 years university. So that was like my main goal to going to 4 year university and then that being like the main path. So I did end up going to Cal State San Bernardino at the time, which I would say later on it did lead to like a big shift to going to community college.
So you had a really interesting path, and you're a high school student. You always talked about going to a four-year school. You went to Cal State San Bernardino. And how long were you there before you made a move back to community college?
So it was actually the same day I went to orientation. I was already enrolled in Cal State San Bernardino. However, once I like went to orientation and everything, I saw everybody like everyone being happy being there. But I was just there like this doesn't feel like the right fit. I'm not very as happy as like other students that already like enrolling into their like classes, talking to like programs and other resources that the school offered. While I was just like walking around looking and seeing like this is not the right school that I really want to go into. So I just went there for orientation and then coming back home. That drive going back home made me realize I just had to find another option. And I remember Trinity College being in my financial aid application. And then realized, okay, if it's already in my financial aid application, I'll just apply there when I get home. And then I did talk to my dad about it, and he was like, okay, if you're paying like out of pocket for Cal State San Bernardino, like half of it, might as well go to a school that you don't have to like pay as much. And then I was like doing research on Chaffey College and realized I could go there for 2 years. So that made me realize, okay, like if I'm getting this free education, the same education, and then able to transfer later to maybe a dream school that I have, I'll like still end up with like the same goal that I want at the end.
What a mature like story and decision. It's pretty incredible to hear that you made that realization the same like the day of orientation and you listened to yourself. And that's really impressive. And we're going to get to where you are now in a minute. But first, I'm going to jump to Alexis and tell us your story and how you ended up at a community college.
Yeah, I mean, my story is very similar to Mariana. Community college wasn't even my first, second, or third option. It was actually my fourth option as the backup of backups. Initially, my pathway was going a completely different route and going to culinary school in New York. Uh, but as I soon realized when applying and seeing the costs of what it would take, I realized it was way too much for me personally. So I decided to pivot and rotate to going to an out-of-state school and choosing UC Chicago, where I had friends and family out there. Same thing happened. I looked at the costs, kind of broke down into what I actually wanted to do, and I realized it wasn't the best option for me again. And then I went to my third option, which was Cal State Fullerton, which is where I'm now graduating from. But I realized I could achieve everything I wanted to do at Cal State Fullerton at the community college level. So I decided, hey, you know what? Let me test try this. If anything, I can always transfer at a later date. And so I went to Fullerton College. And from there, I fell in love with the community college system. And I actually decided to do dual enrollment at both Cypress and Fullerton. And that's something I was able to accomplish to get my associate's degree.
Wow. I mean, both of you, I mean, this is why you're doing so well in your internship and you're such great interns and students as you both like made really smart decisions for yourself. And I'm really interested, since we are marketers, both of you said that community college wasn't a first choice, a second choice, and Mariana, for you, it wasn't even like something you considered. Had you talked to your high school counselors or gotten information from your high schools about community college as an option before your college journey?
I would say in high school, community college wasn't really as brought up, or like, for example, during enrollment wasn't as brought up either. Um, when it came to high school, I wasn't really close with my counselor. Matter of fact, the only time I talked to them was when scheduling classes for next year. So that's one thing. I wasn't as communicated with them. When it came to my avid teacher, community college, the way he mentioned it, it was more of a backup plan. And as well, he did mention how when it came to community college, it would like backtrack the amount of period you would be like in school. For example, he did mention like students are there for more than 2 years, and it does take a while for them to like transfer, which I did see in my process. However, even though I was there for like 1 year extra at community college, it still led me to a good path and like a good um transition to a school, for example, UCLA, that I'm now attending. So yeah, I would say I'm still grateful for community college, even though like it was still brought down in high school. It literally brought me to like a lot of opportunities further on.
It's so interesting that you say that because you sound so much like me back in the 90s. Like, I don't remember my high school counselor at all. I would have thought that these things had changed by now. Like, I never talked to a counselor, and no one ever brought up community college. Like, it was not discussed. And so here we are, 30 years later, you'd think these have changed, but in your case, it hasn't. And what about for you, Alexis? Did you have conversations in your high school?
So I luckily did have those conversations very early on. I think one of the things that benefited me a lot was that Fullerton College is right across from my campus, so I will have to walk less than a street away to be at the community college. And so I was luckily able to take a lot of advanced college placement classes in high school. So I was able to have the opportunity to take nutrition and to take culinary at the community college level while still being in high school.
Are you still taking culinary classes?
Unfortunately, not as much anymore, but I still do cook regularly at home.
I just had an idea. Like next time we have a company retreat, we need to have Alexis cook for us. We'll hire you. We'll give you a job. So I mean, your experience was location. Like you saw the school, it was there. It was part of your daily life. Now that you've worked with community college marketing, um, and have been to community college yourselves, how would you better communicate this to high school students? What advice would you have for either community colleges themselves or for high schools?
I would say for high school students to just, it does take time to figure things out, but it's okay. take your time and choose a path that makes sense for you and not just what others expect. Because I know for me, when it came to Avid, I saw everyone getting accepted into four-year colleges, and it was like big name colleges as well. So that made me want to also go to like four-year colleges straight out of high school. When I end up taking my time, taking a step back and realizing that I wanted to go to more of like an option that's better for me financially rather than what would lead me to debt more like further on in like my college years. Mhm.
Right. I mean, that's an important point, I think, like celebrating community college attendance as a success. And I think that's a good thing that counselors and faculty at high schools can do, but also community colleges themselves could market that they have high school graduates from all the different high schools. I mean, I could even see that as a social media campaign, like, congrats to the La Costa Canyon high school students coming to our school, or the 400 students from Oceanside High School that are coming to Maricosta. And that can builds that social proof, that there's a lot of people making this decision, that you're not missing out. You're gonna be among your peers making this really smart choice. So I think that's important. When I was in high school, they used to publish in the newspaper, the local newspaper, all the places that students were going to, and they left off Maricosta and Palomar colleges, our local colleges. They didn't even include them. And that's changed. Now today, it is included when you have a list of, like, high schools people are going to, they include the colleges, but the colleges had to ask, like, over and over again, "Can we please be included on this list? Because 'Cause you're still going to college, and it's a big deal, and it needs to be celebrated. So I think that's good advice, is let's make this a norm, let's make this something that we celebrate. And what about for you, Alexis? Like, what advice would you have? How would you approach it differently?
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand and get where you're coming from, Cheryl. I think in having worked with community college marketers, I think one key point is not waiting for students to come to you. It's putting that information publicly available for them to see. Because I feel like if you have even just the slight attention of 5 seconds of their time, like, okay, I can see that, hey, this may be a better option for me just from a quick glance. I know for me, once all the information was provided to me, community college was the right option for me. But before then, I didn't have my own counselor coming out and discussing this with me. So until I had all the information, did I realize, hey, you know what? This was the right choice.
So I'd love to talk more about your personal experiences at community colleges, because I think this might help some of the marketing professionals listening to the podcast with their own campaigns. Like, looking back at your younger self, what were some things that would have impacted you to hear? Like, what do you wish people had told you so that you would have learned more about this option from the get-go?
Something that can definitely kind of help and encourage students towards that direction is visibility and community. I think those things are what kind of drew me initially to universities and to culinary school. Why? Because I would see on social media all these programs that they would have, this community that would welcome students to come in and join their university or their college specifically. And I think oftentimes community colleges lack that visibility, just because maybe they don't post as often socially, where I feel like if they did more so often, they would have a lot more students within their own area or even outside the area decide to come to them.
Okay. Yeah, that's great advice. So as a high school student, you're looking for experience, you're looking for community. Am I gonna fit here? Am I gonna make friends? Am I gonna have fun? Am I gonna have a college experience? And you were on social media seeing those things, and that's a pretty easy place for colleges and universities to put these things up. Okay. And I know I'd be, like, wowed by New York and Chicago too. Like, that's exciting. Like, maybe we wanna feel some excitement. Students need that excitement. And what about for you, Mariana?
Yeah, I would also agree with Alexis. Like as coming as a generation student, seeing what fourth year universities give out, like the college experience, the community, the clubs, um, the opportunities, for example, big internships and things like that made me like want to lead more to a fourth year university. As when it came to community colleges, I did not see that college experience, that social life, different classes that they offer that would make me want to go straight to high school to community college.
And I think that's interesting that you say, like, internships, because you started when you were a community college student, and when I worked at a college and I would sometimes give tours to parents when our student ambassadors weren't available, and I'd take them by the internship office, and I'd take them by study abroad, and it'd always be the same thing. They'd always be like, "Wait, you've study abroad? Like, you've internships?" Like, I think there was this perception that it's like, you're just gonna come, take a class, and go, and there's, like, nothing else to do. And so I think our colleges can do a better job of showing some of these auxiliary services, like the clubs and the all the fun things that there are to do, at the college, and the internships and the career center and the study abroad, and there's so much else going on.
Yeah, when, like, going to JP College, I didn't even know they had to study abroad until I got an email saying, "You could study abroad in Mexico and take a class of Chicano studies," and, like, they would even, like, pay for it too, so that's something that really caught my eye, but I didn't even know before going into community college.
Did you do that? Were you able to do it?
No, I wasn't.
No.
It was the summer I was already applying to four-year, universities, so it would it wouldn't, like, align. Mhm.
Yeah. I'm already seeing, like, an ad ca like, a social campaign in my head, like, all the things that you like, checking it off, study abroad, internships, like, these are experiences that people are looking for.
How do higher education decision makers find the right solution when technology evolves at light speed? Well, we usually start with our network. EdTech Connect is the network that's democratizing the higher ed technology conversation. EdTech Connect is free, so anyone with a .edu email address can sign up and list the software and services they use in their role at their school. Once you're in, you can find out what solutions similar schools are doing all over the country. Whether you're looking to find the hot new AI tool, or maybe learn options you have to upgrade your campus search engine, or even get to your short list of marketing solution vendors, EdTech Connect is the place to go. So visit edtechconnect.com and set up your free profile to get a pulse for what's happening with higher ed technology today.
What other advice would you have for marketers? I mean, you're both seeing our campaigns and live the experience. Um, if you were a community college marketer, what would you do? How would you focus on high school students?
One thing I would like to add is to take full advantage of relationships. The reason being is at a community college, you have the advantage of being a lot smaller. So you can get a lot more personal and close to your students or to people that are interested in coming into your college, as you feel kind of like a special one of one versus when you're at a university with 5 to 10,000 more students, you feel like you're just one of many.
Yeah, so when it comes to marketers and, like, marketing community colleges, I would say they do promote a lot of, like, the support, the resources, and opportunities, but I would also like to see, like, promoting, like, a clear guidance, like, for example, step by step on how to go and seek those supportive resources and opportunities. For example, when it comes to EOBS, that stands for Excited um, and Opportunities and Services. I would say like a step by step guide how to like lead to the program and how to apply to it and what students or criteria they need to like follow to lead to that program.
So, I mean, we're really, I think the big takeaway I'm getting from both of you is you can't expect the high schools to give the guidance, right? You need to go as a college and provide some of that guidance yourself, whether that's making a personal connection, being on campus, doing social media, Like, we can't assume that the high schools are telling students what we think they are. Right? And you both come from areas where there's lots of colleges. So you think that you would get something from your high school counselors, but you really kind of did it on your own. And you're ambitious, right? And able. So I'm sure there's a lot of other students out there that might need a little nudging. So they need a little extra help. Well, before we wrap up the conversation, I did want to change paths a little bit and talk about your experience here at GradComm, um, and what it's been like now working in the marketing space, and what you've learned, and how your experience has shaped the way you think about community colleges, but also about marketing.
For me, I've very much appreciated this internship. I feel like it's been a wonderful, unique experience that I don't think I would find elsewhere. Um, GradCom as a team has been very well uh, receiving me and Mariana. We've been welcomed. We've been assisted wherever needed. We've also been guided into pathways just beyond the internship and kind of who we want to become after. And I know for me, I've developed a much more uh, appreciation and respect for marketing after seeing how much effort and work is put in, especially how much passion as well for trying to improve not only the lives of uh, everyone around us, but also other students when we reach out through our messages. Um, and I've initially coming from a finance background and administration, I was very different in perspective of like, hey, I'm focused on numbers, I'm focused on facts, I'm focused on the straight points. But with marketing, it's kind of helped me expand my vision of, hey, what else do I need to factor in? How can I make people more comfortable? How can I help people? And how can I be the best version of myself? And I don't think I would have achieved as much as soon as I have through all the experiences, whether it was working with a lot of the team members on projects for clients or working on some of the GradCom marketing on the inside, as well as working on a lot of the individual kind of new innovative ideas of how AI is applying to the current space that we're at. And I think working at GradCom has been a significant impact on my life, and I feel Mariana has had the similar experience as well.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, going back to Alexis, GradComm has very like shifted my way into marketing. When it came to marketing, I thought it was only just like looking into a brand, but it's more than that. It's like the storytelling behind it, the how it could affect each society in different ways. So it really opened my mind more when it comes to marketing. And then also in general, like marketing is everywhere. And even like looking outside, like trees can be marketed in a certain way, like different types of like what it like brings to the whole like community overall. And yeah, GradCom has like opened my eyes overall, just seeing how it works within a team as well. And like opening up my skills, for example, with social posts or like analyzing the background of that social post and how it could affect the audience in many ways. So GradCom has helped me like overall, just even like personality wise, just open up myself more, and from being like timid to more open and with the team, and just overall increasing my ways within even like talking in general. I don't talk as much, but the GradCom team has helped me like even with my shyness with behind like showing myself in the camera more, doing reels for them, and overall just growing with the team.
Oh, well, that's so great. I love to hear. I feel like I'm gonna cry hearing your guys' experience. It's so nice. And I have to say, if we have people listening, one project I'll remember the most from both of you is Mariana had a day in the life video when she first started that actually ended up inspiring us to sell the process you used for day in the life videos. We're like, this turned out so good. This is how we can approach it. And I remember you taking a calculus test and walking by turtles. So, see, I can remember your video. And Alexis made an amazing AI generated video, our first AI generated video, and that's now another product that we have is we're making videos similar for other clients using some of that creativity that you brought. And I was able to show your video at a conference to about 200 people who all applauded when it was done. So it's been great having students. And I think for those marketers who are listening out there, I encourage you to bring interns into your marketing department on campus because you never know what you guys are going to bring. It's a great surprise and a lot of fun to have you both. So, last question for you. So, what's next? Where are you headed um, after you graduate? Like, what are your plans now?
Yeah, so after I graduate, I do want to continue working with the marketing. So leading on, I do want to go into like the marketing field. Also, like technology has been a big interest in me as GradComm has like brought in more into like AI and Amy. That has brought an interest into me into working like with marketing and tech. So I do want to like go into the job market and just continue on working with marketing.
So at the moment, I've been fielding a couple of offers. One being a financial analyst, as well as I'm hoping to join maybe a community college in the marketing department as an assistant to start off, but hopefully maybe later moving to administration as I'm kind of determining my options. And so that's currently my goal right after graduating this semester. And so I'm hoping to apply to a couple more jobs to see kind of what's out there and what I can accomplish and where I see myself in the next 3 to 5 years.
So, am I hearing, Alexis, you already have a job offer?
Yes.
Wow, congrats. And this is a tough market right now. And look at you already, not even graduated and getting offers. That is so exciting.
Yeah, it's one of three offers that I'm pending on. And so I'm hoping to complete a couple more within the next month or so, and kind of seeing what's out there. Because although I love kind of the idea of being a financial analyst and some of the work kind of being more so geared towards my skills and abilities, I feel like I can maybe test myself and do something more, or maybe find something I can appreciate a little more.
Well, wouldn't it be cool if both of you ended up as community college marketers? And then you could come back and hire GradComm. Well, thank you both so much. I loved hearing about your stories and where you are now, and you have a lot to be proud of and are great examples for other students. And really appreciate you taking the time for those of you listening on a Friday afternoon, two college students giving their Friday afternoon to be on a podcast. And it's been great talking to both of you.